Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition. I'm Violet.
And I'm Pat.
Weekly, we come to you guys with articles that Patrick finds online, or videos sometimes, where we're talking about either positive things about the ketogenic lifestyle or things that need to be, eked out. So I'm not sure what's coming to me. As
No.
usual, Patrick's going to take the floor.
It's about like studies.
Oh,
Keto is
okay.
a relatively new mainstream like lifestyle, and like you see your bunch of studies. It's an article from the Diet Doctor, so it's
Oh,
from a doctor.
okay.
That's interesting.
Actually, I know that
And
website. Okay.
yeah, and so the title was like the NuSI and NuSI study raised potential concerns about a keto diet. It's the Nutrition Science Initiative. It's a nonprofit medical research organization dedicated to reducing the individual, economic, social cost of obesity, diabetes, and related metabolic diseases by improving the quality of nutrition.
So just
So,
basically, I just want to ask a question. You're saying this article you found on the Diet Doctor site.
yeah,
So
and
there's a
it's a
part of me that feels like this is going to be a good article, but okay.
the intro paragraph is a new study from like that organization suggests that a ketogenic diet worsens lipid, inflammatory, and glucose markers, and thus may be a health concern. So it's a study
That's
like that
that's what the
actually.
study
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna describe the study and let's go with what maybe like
Oh,
does
okay.
work or don't work
Okay.
and what you think and compare with like with what the doctor is saying. The scope of the topic: enrolled 17 overweight subjects
Okay.
without diabetes,
Okay.
okay, and kept them in a metabolic ward for 8 weeks. So very, very, very controlled like nutrition for 8 weeks.
So my first question is, when they said without
Okay.
diabetes, did they check for pre-diabetes? That's A.
Okay.
And the second thing is that 8 weeks is
Famously.
not long enough.
Okay.
But
So
these are my just like
yeah.
spitballing. This is what comes to my head first and
Okay.
foremost.
But that doesn't end there. So for the first 4 weeks, all the 17 like persons being like subjects, I guess, they ate a controlled diet of 15% protein, 50% carbs, 35% fat.
So we're doing high
Okay.
carb, high
Yeah.
fat,
Standard American diet for the
15%
four
protein.
first
Okay.
week, but a controlled standard American diet.
Okay.
Okay. Then they transition to an isocaloric would mean like the same kind of calorie, but like 15% protein. Still like you
Okay.
always say your protein with our pivot. So 15% protein, we didn't change the protein, but 5% carbs and 80% fat. So basically they
Yep.
went 4 weeks on a controlled standard American diet and
And
then
then
moved for four
4 weeks
weeks
on a
in a
keto diet,
keto
but
diet.
as in percentages. Okay.
So okay, what like the study showed is that after the 8 weeks,
So just can I just say one thing that
yeah,
when you first started said it was 8 weeks, I was like not long enough, and now I'm really saying not long enough.
not long enough.
Okay, but okay.
That's the first like, but like you kind of scooped the order of the article because like that's his first comment too,
It
but
takes us
like
2 weeks to get into
yeah,
ketosis
so there's no
properly.
way like in 4 weeks. So
There's no way in four
yeah,
weeks you're gonna get any kind of meaningful information.
yeah.
But okay.
So what the study showed, like inflammatory markers, see, if you know what they mean, like just feel free to describe them, but like they don't. But like inflammatory markers, CRP and IL-6 increased on a keto diet. So they increased in the second part, like the four
Reactive
weeks.
protein. I
So
think
they're inflammatory markers. So
yeah.
basically, they in the second part of the study, like in the second like 4 weeks, inflammatory markers like increased.
Of course, but I
LDL,
mean, yeah, okay, sorry.
okay,
Mm,
but let me finish. LDL cholesterol increased,
mm-hmm.
going from 125 milligram per deciliter to 150, but the HDL increased too, going from 44 to 446.
Mm-hmm.
But the overall insulin levels dropped as the triglycerides.
The
Okay.
overall insulin dropped, of course,
Yeah.
and the triglycerides dropped. Okay. So here's the
Yeah. Let's
just
go
hearing
first,
that
like
little bit
first
of
batch of.
information, because they only did 4 weeks.
Mhm.
So I've said this in other videos. When you first do a ketogenic lifestyle, the first few weeks is your body getting into ketosis, which means it's starting
Adapting.
to break down. So the first 2 weeks is you getting over that ketogenic, what we call flu, but
Flu.
like it's like that transition where your body is looking for carbs and you're not giving it in, and it's kind of pushing you, and you're having this little addictive reaction fight with your body.
Mhm.
Once you get past that, your body starts to pull fat off you to kind of make up that difference in energy that it's looking for, that process of getting regulated. So if I, and these are just numbers that I'm throwing out there for you to understand. If I was eating 2,000 calories daily, and then I take the carbohydrates out, week one, I'm going to eat more fat. So I'm going to try to stay around 2,000. But then in the next week, I'm going to eat normally. So I'm going to eat the fat that comes along with my meat and nothing else. So now there's a little deficit of maybe 200, maybe 300, whatever it is, and my body's gonna start pulling it from me. All of a sudden, when I start doing that, my body is breaking down fat in me. Of course, HDL, LDL, everything is gonna
It's
start
gonna
being
be out.
released into
Yeah.
my system, cholesterol, everything, because my body is breaking down internal fat. It takes a little while for it to regulate itself and get back to stable. That's why I was saying, like this, even at 8 weeks, I
Yeah,
didn't think this was a long enough
it
study.
was not long enough,
Now you're
definitely.
doing 4 and 4.
Yeah.
It's really not a long enough study.
The study did show, though, that okay, they measure the okay. They also measure the insulin and glucose response to test meals, like to their meals, while on a ketogenic diet, which showed impaired insulin sensitivity to a control meal, but improved insulin sensitivity to a keto meal. So basically, even in 8 weeks, they managed to show that like the insulin response was better on the keto meals compared to the controlled standard American meal. So
See, the thing that's like,
even
again, the thing that
like
people
after
don't
8 weeks.
understand about a ketogenic lifestyle and like why we end up in trouble at the doctor's office is that you have to consider, like, if I'm eating a standard American diet, my body is used to getting hit by sugar so the insulin is they're waiting and ready to manage the sugar that I'm gonna eat today. When I do a ketogenic lifestyle for a long period of time, like, so for myself, after a year and a half of being on keto, if I went to do a glucose test at my doctor right now, I'm gonna fail because my body's not looking for a hit of sugar anymore. It's looking for 20 grams or less, right? A sugar test, I can't remember how much it is, but it's a heck of a lot of sugar that they're making you drink.
Okay.
The point being, it's a large amount of sugar that you're drinking in one shot. And so your body's not ready for it. You haven't been doing that for months. Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
again, oh man.
Anyway, yeah, there was one like concern that the LDL was actually calculated and not measured in the blood of the subjects. So this was like,
Calculated? What do you mean?
yeah, calculated. Like they didn't measure it. All this to point out that it's sometimes even if there are studies, there actually can be like some
Oh, so
weaknesses or so.
basically
Yeah, it's
they
just like
took other numbers and then
I didn't
calculated what
calculate.
the LDL would have been rather
Yeah,
than actually measuring
measure
the
it
LDL.
like in the
Probably, I'm going
so.
to say they probably did that because the LDL test is expensive.
Oh, maybe.
And that's probably why they did that.
Okay.
But they should have measured it. If this is
If it's
research, there should have
yeah.
been money for that.
So
And it's only 8 weeks, for crying out loud.
yeah, yeah, totally. So ready for the doctor's comment on that study?
Yes.
So first concern, it was only a 4 week study like that,
Of
like
keto.
exactly
Yeah.
like what you said. So as a physician, I'm not interested in what happened over a 4 week period of starting a new diet. 4 weeks is not enough. So he's saying at 4 months, at 4 months, I might start to get interested. At 4 years, like you got
Really
his
interested.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that to say that if you want to try a keto lifestyle, give it a chance. Like don't. I have colleagues that tried for 3 days because they were not able to do it anymore because it was too restrictive to like they were hungry all the time. Like just give yourself time to adapt to that new lifestyle and research your information, watch Violet's videos, and like, but you have to give yourself some time.
Yeah, I do agree with you that we live in a now scenario, like world, like
Yeah.
now. I want results now. And like I feel like that's why we fail at a lot of things because people don't recognize that, well, I might want to lose 20 pounds in a month, but is it healthy for me to lose 20 pounds in a month? Right? And even with keto, like and this is where I get frustrated because you have people like me, the outlier, who lost 70 pounds in like 5 or 6 months. I don't remember how much it was now, but like I'm an outlier. I'm not your typical person. I don't know why I lost it that fast, except for maybe that I was that committed to getting rid of my pain. But beyond that, I don't know why I lost it that fast. And there are other people who say that they're being as strict as I was being and lost it like it took years for them to get it off. Right? But this is part of where we're all different. And I feel like we're such a now society that the thing that we lose track of is that if in a month you lost half a pound, can you please pay attention to the fact that before you started keto, you were gaining half a pound a month or a year or whatever it is? Like, you lost half a pound in a month. Why is that bad? Right? Like, I think we're losing perspective because we want everything yesterday. And that's not how this works. Your health is so important that however you get to it, right? Commit to doing half a pound a month if that's what you need to do.
Getting rid of carbs is about health, not losing weight.
Exactly.
You say that all the time.
It's about
and I
health.
think it's
And it's like, but I want to hear what else you have to say.
It's well established that the body takes time to transition to a fat burning metabolism. So no, like, it's not gonna happen in 2 days. It's more gonna happen in a few weeks. So like a study that short, like, still, like, what's interesting is that they looked at the inflammatory markers like the CRP and IL-6 and IL-6, and actually they decrease
Interleukin
from
6. Interleukin 6.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember these.
Okay. But like they actually decrease from the from week number 3 to week number 4 of the keto lifestyle. So they raise a little bit in the first 2 weeks and then started decreasing already.
Of course, like I said, the article, the research was not long enough.
Yeah. And like what he's pointing out is studies have shown that initially, like, elevated LDL can return to normal after 6 to 12 months, not 2 to 3 weeks. So a study like that is too short to.
Which is part of the reason that a lot of people get into trouble with their doctors, right? Because let's say you have something happening where your doctor is like, it's time for you to be on medication, and you're like, oh, I don't want to. So what does your doctor typically do? At least here in Canada, what your doctor's going to do? Well, instead of seeing you next year, I'm going to see you in 6 months. But by the time you come back in 6 months, if you started keto, your numbers are horrible now. And the doctor is just like, oh, now you really need it. Even if you've lost weight, they're not looking at that. They're looking at, but your numbers are not good. Right? And I think this is where, if you understand what you're doing, it's still important for you to say, no, doc, give me another 6 months. Give me another 7 or 8 months, right? Let me get through this. Because guess what? And this is something I say all the time because I lived it. Okay? I know that doctors will tell you absolutely good information, like you should really stop smoking because you have diabetes and it's just adding complications, or you should stop doing alcohol because you have this condition and it's causing complications. You should stop doing drugs because it's causing this complication. And people will say, yes, 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 walk out the door and keep drinking, keep smoking, keep doing drugs. Because guess what? The doctor can't force you. So if you know, and I say no, if you've done your research, don't take my word for it, right? I say it all the time. I'm a psychologist. I'm helping you to understand the mentality that you need to have to do what's best for you. And it always starts with research. Understand what the information means. I'm trying to help you understand it, but at the same time, I know if you take all this information and you go to your doctor and you take each piece of information and say, doctor, does carbohydrates cause inflammation? Your doctor's going to say yes, because they're aware of that. If you say, doctor, poor quality oils, do they cause inflammation? Your doctor's going to say yes, because they're aware. If you take each of the individual pieces of information that all the doctors and people are talking about and bring it to your doctor and say, does that cause this? They're going to say yes. But then when you say, well, then should I do a ketogenic lifestyle? No. No. Right? So this is where I'm saying to you, do your research. Because if you do your research, then you are going to know that, my doctor knows all these pieces of the puzzle. I put the puzzle together and I know I'm feeling better. And it allows you to do what's good for you. Because guess what? The same way they can't make you stop doing drugs, guess what? The same way they can't make you stop drinking, guess what? The same way they can't make you stop smoking, they can't force you to take a medication that you know is going to harm you. They can't force you, right? It's up to you to be a wellness warrior and do the thing that you know is better for yourself. But to know what's better for you, you need to do your research. Do not take my word for it. Do your research. I'm this confident because I did my research and I know what I lived. Live it. Understand it. Then you'll also be able to talk about it.
And research is more than one article. It's like
more than one article,
multiple sources,
more than one,
and get the pros, get the cons, get like everything. Do yourself your own.
Listen,
like make yourself your own idea.
More than
about
one
something.
article, more than one doctor. Dr. Westman, Dr. Berry, Dr. Berg, Dr. Bickman, I've watched so many, Dr. Sivas. I've watched and talked to and reached out to so many doctors. Why? Because it's important to do your research. This is your health. One. You just get one. If you screw it up, it's over. So do your research, understand what you're doing. Like I said, they can't force you to take a medication. If you know what you're doing is better for you, but your doctor is not on board, find a doctor who's on board. They exist. That's going to follow you properly. That's going to check your markers. That's going to really understand your situation. Find your doctor. You don't have to stay with a doctor that doesn't understand you. Right? But you need to do your research. Right? So, I mean, I like where this article is going. I'm going to right now so you can go through the rest of it.
No, I like the only thing I want to add is like health is a lifetime process. It's not a 4-week study. It's not like a diet just to lose weight over a couple months. Like it's a lifetime process.
Yeah. Like we say, I don't know if I'm wearing that shirt today, but I create happiness daily, right? And I work on being healthy daily. Like this is, if you actually read what I write in my descriptions, I end with that, your happiness, your health and happiness is something you have to work on every single day, right? It doesn't come by magic. It doesn't come by accident, right? It comes because you see problems and you deal with the problem. Because eating food is not going to solve a problem unless what you're trying to solve is that you're hungry. If you're trying to solve anything else, you have to actually address the anything else. So, yeah, I think the thing here is that understanding that, they can't make you do something that is going to harm you. I'll go back to the example that I give every once in a while of myself because I think it's relevant. I have thalassemia. How many years were the doctors trying to get me to take iron pills? And if I wasn't listening to my body, I would have just forced myself to take them and I'd be dead by now. Because the doctor that found out that I had thalassemia and then I told him what was happening and he said, yeah, you would have died. Because your body can't manage the iron. That's why you're anemic. If you don't know what's happening, you do things that are mistakes, right? So this is where part of it was me knowing that, I take this and I feel horrible. Doesn't make sense to me, right? And I had to fight that as a kid, which parents from the Caribbean, if anybody has parents from the Caribbean in the comments below, you know how hard that was for me, right? I had to fight that as a kid. And it makes me sad. How much of my parents' money did I throw away? Them thinking I'm taking a medication that I'm not taking because I know how I was feeling when I took it, right? That's sad. I shouldn't have had to do that, right? They shouldn't have to pay for crap that wasn't actually going to help me, right? But you need the doctor to actually find out what's really wrong, right? It takes having that paradigm shift of knowing that, these parents are telling me they're feeding this kid beef every, 5 times a week and she's still anemic. Something else must be happening there. No, they just assumed they were lying. They assumed I was lying, right? Rather than check, is there anything else that could be going on? So that was a bit of a rant. But I so much want you guys to do well. I want you guys to do well. And I think if our videos help one person to change their life and be in a better situation, to me, that's worth all of this, right? Because everybody's valuable. Everybody, every single person, right? We're not a number. So I started off, I was happy about this article and I feel like I'm even more happy about this article because you know what? Please go out there and be a wellness warrior. Do what's going to help you to be healthier.
If you have studies that you found online, just put the links in the comments.
Yeah,
we like doing that stuff and reviewing them.
And maybe sharing some new information with you guys. If someone can give us something that we can look at and share some new information, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody for, my wellness warriors. I'm always happy when you come by and all the new people, you can become a wellness warrior by subscribing, click the bell, do all the things, right? Because we make videos every week. And I also have a video that I make on Mondays talking about keto and how to do it well and how to keep your mindset good. For everybody who might want to contribute to the production of videos, you can go to Patreon/Violet Rivera. All the information's there, the perks, etc. I love making these videos for you guys. I can't wait to talk to you guys again next week.
Yeah, see you next week.